Thanks for stopping by my presentation today. This presentation is highly visual, as anyone who knows me will have guessed it's something I love to do. Some slides I'll be reading, and other slides I'll pause and just talk about what's on the screen. So let's take it away. Builders of brilliance, capturing our students' attention and achieving the values and goals of the library in the process. So let's look at what the values and goals of the library are. To prioritize equity, inclusion, and belonging, fostering a learning environment that supports the diverse community of students, faculty, and staff. Aiming to enhance literacy, discovery, and learning. So how do we do that in an attractive way to engage our students and win their hearts? I'd like to suggest we look at a quote from Henri Matisse, one of my favorite artists. He says, "Creation begins with vision." Let's think about that. We need to keep the vision alive. Make sure our students know about the resources and services available to them at the library. Here's another quote by another artist that really resonates with me. It's by Marc Chagall. He says, "If I create from the heart, nearly everything works. If from the head, almost nothing." As somewhat of an artist myself, I really get that. When I'm inspired, I can just keep going. So the following presentation is what I've done from inspiration to keep the vision and capture our students' attention. When we look good, students notice. So we have a table with books, but I love to dress it up with some artistic elements. In this one, we have spring, lots of new resources to welcome in. Another one was a well-lighted display case with spring items that you can see and the books there nestled in the environment of spring. You got a bird with a branch and blue sky. It's just a very welcoming touch. And we had another theme called Our Hidden Gems. Resources displayed creatively, it attracts our students. I feel a visual presence is very important. Then we got a journalism theme, where I love to add features to make it come alive. If you look carefully, those figures are made from newspapers intentionally, because it's journalism. Actually, paper mache models made from newspapers. And the silhouette images are writers set against a textual background, obviously along with the books. This was a media studies theme display with a real rendering of Humphrey Bogart that was done in pen and ink. The film studies for a diverse audience showcase DVDs that have a staying power. Then there was another time in the fall when we were celebrating TIFF together. It's just fun to have those things that people notice right away and can relate to. This was a Black History Month display from 2024. For that year, the theme was "Without community, there is no liberation." This one used some black and white images that were done on individual wood blocks with a technique that made them look old. And they are historical figures, so I felt this was appropriate. For each of one of those people, there's a little bio written up about them. Again, the theme was community, and so community makes it work. This display also had a purposeful sculpture that tells a story, and the piano is a book sculpture. Just another prop that can capture our students' attention. Then there's International Women's Day theme, inspiring inclusion and promoting a speaker who came for the day. Now, the prop I used in this one was the globe, which could be the woman's head, with just some simple beads on top of gold fabric. Just something like that, that's simple but gets the point across, is another way to grab attention. Then we have a mental health theme because we take mental health very seriously. Look closely. A student walking with a backpack depicted on the blocks of wood, and there's a play of positive and negative spaces on the typed word background. So these are the art items in this display. Then we have celebrating music, and at Humber Lakeshore there is much to celebrate in the way of music. This display included wooden mannequins that hold instruments and some real old retro 45s. Personal finances is another important topic for every college student. The figures in this display are made from clay, and the photo in the background is a real collage to represent the city. Another art piece I accompanied with this display was a woodcut titled Money Passing Through the Fingers. It's the one on the right. Then there was World Children's Day month in November 2022. If you cast your eye in lots of places here, there are specific little items that help to get the point across for Children's Day, including a fun fact that the blue color is the symbol for children's rights on Children's Day. I like to fit in little fun facts. Then we had another awesome summer theme the year that the Barbie movie came out. It was a lot of fun and students seemed to really like it. We had one side that was the Barbie side of the display and had books by Barbies, Barbaras, and Barbs. And in this one there was a real life chair crafted and painted by hand with the arrow pointing it to there on the bottom left. Of course, you have to have the Ken side of the display. And, well, you guessed it, books by Kens. And lots of props to show Ken at the beach, because we all know that's kind of what Ken does best. Now, Humber is now a polytechnic. And as a library, we support what is created in the Idea Lab. This was a display to show the demonstration of the close connection between our Idea Lab and Humber and Guelph Humber libraries. Some of the items in this display were actually made at the Idea Lab. And we show the strong and practical connection between the library and the Idea Lab in that the one in the mannequin's hand is a bookmark. Now moving along, there was a time when we didn't have as many cases, so we had to switch over to more tabletop displays. We have some glass to enter the library, and in this display we used a table behind the glass, and the display was actually visual from two sides of the library, going in and going out. The theme was road trip ahead for the summer, why not take a book along? The table had bookmarks that were made of little maps, and we had lots of books on the countertop as well. A transition went from summer to fall. So the character you see on the left was, if you study it, someone who their GPS broke down and they had to use an old-fashioned map. And after the summer trip is done, they return to the college in the fall. So the images continue on, and so do the student resources. In this case, still traditional books on a countertop. Catching our students' eyes and captivating their hearts is a win-win experience, in my opinion. Wait, did you notice the previous screen was blank? That was intentional to get your attention. Did it? As we all know, technology has increased at a very rapid speed. The traditional book has been replaced by an online digital one in many cases. The challenge before us now is how do we draw users into a digital world? I would suggest in creative ways we still can. Let me show you. As we look to the future, we embrace the change and remember this. Technology changes, but humanity doesn't. The library is still relevant. We serve and deliver. In this display, a fisherman's net is used as an illustration to describe how a database is the tool to help you get the article you want in that online world. So we have that fisherman saying use this tool, and the tool in this case is Meltwater, which is a database. Now the curious student will ask, what is the database that is called Meltwater? In other words, what is this tool used for? Well, the answer is Meltwater contains Media Intelligence Essentials and the Media Relations Platform. PR students would use this. You can monitor the news and access Canadian media contacts and sources with it. You can follow a story. Now, we're tapping into the future of the library. Research help is available online through Askon, and as we know, our library team members staff that and help students find articles and help them with research online. Another popular thing now are podcasts. Many students are making podcasts and using social media. The library has social media. We use it. We attract students. We're entering a world now that has artificial intelligence. Copilot is a recognized AI for Humber Polytechnic. And those DVDs you saw, many titles are available through streaming. Streaming platforms freely available to students. So, we are still relevant. We're tapping into the future. Thank you for watching. The hope is that you gained insight into how a creative approach to displaying the library's resources and services fosters the library's values and the goal of enhancing literacy, discovery, and learning. We will be here into the future, still serving our diverse group of students with a presence that is relevant to the current times.